Hey everyone, this is Gnogart, and today I want to talk to you about Yummy Tri-Brigade. Now this is post-ban list, post-burst protocol, so we do have the new Spring-Ins kit, but we don't have Herald anymore. So without Herald, we don't have a way to negate nib or breakers here, so I wanted to tackle these issues with my combos, and I wanted to show you how I do it. So most of these lines end on the same board, maybe with some variations. One piece, you trade one piece for another, but that's all in all, you end on the same thing. And I think it's still very, very competent, a very resilient board. And yeah, you'll see it once I do the combo. So let's just hop into the first one. So for the first line, we just have a Yummy name. I just took Cookie here because it doesn't have an additional effect for you. Of course, Marshmallow or Cupsy are better starters, but I just wanted to show you the basic line. Generally, most of the lines end on the same thing, depending on where you go with it. It's just the more extension you have, the better you are into hand traps. So you can normal summon the Yummy. You go into Snatchy, which is gonna set up your field spell, bringing back your Yummy, and then you can synchro into Cupsy Yummy Way, which gets you the two Yummies that you need. In this case, because we don't have any extension, we have to discard a random card from our hand that we don't need, and because we want to special summon the Marshmallow. And this is summon number 5, so if they nib us here, we get a token that will turn into a Link Spider, we summon the Cupsy, and we make Lollipop, and we'll end on the same setup, because the point that we want to be at is to have a Synchro and 2 Tri-types. Now, this Cupsy is going to grab you a Yummy Surprise. Again, if they nib us here, with the token we make Link Spider, we bring back Marshmallow, Marshmallow brings back this, you still have Lollipop plus 2 bodies. So you're gonna link these two off for Mouser. Now this is your pivoting point. Mouser does everything basically. Here you can decide whether you want to play safe into nib or you want to get the full board. Of course, if you have more extenders, that changes. But here, let's go for the full board first, and we're going to send a Bucephalus, and we're going to send a Nerval. Now, we're going to chain link one Nerval, chain link two Bucephalus, because the Nerval is more important. And we're going to send with the Bucephalus the Chimera, which is in your opponent's turn a quick effect to banish it and summon a Tri-type, which is very nice because that means it's basically a free copy of Yummy Surprise, and with just one Snatchy, that is very nice to have. The Nerval is going to grab you a Fraktall, which you can use to send a kit, and the kit sends the new kit, and the new kit is going to summon back the Nerval. Now, watch your positioning here, because Tri-Brigade arrows are weird. So you know that Bearbrom points in this way, and Mouser in these, and then Ferrigid points to this zone or this zone, which is occupied right now. But you want to bring back Nerval in this case because it's level 1, so you can actually synchro with it during your opponent's turn if something happens. So Nerval here banishes 2. I would banish the Bucephalus because you cannot bring it back, just banish it. And then you can bring back a Spring-Ins kit, which will only access in the grave or banishment through Revolt anyway, so let's just banish it. So if we resolve Revolt, we get it back, otherwise it doesn't matter. And we can then make our double Dragon Lords in this zone. That is very important, you'll see in a second. Next, you're gonna link these two off for a Bearbrom, and then you're gonna activate Yummy Surprise into Marshmallow, and you grab back the Yummy Surprise. Before we made the Bearbrom, that would be a very good spot for your opponent to nib, because then we don't get into Revolt anymore. So this is why this plays a bit into nib. You still, after the nib, will have Yummy Surprise plus your Chimera, which is 1 card combo through a nib, still pretty decent. But here you're gonna go use the Marshmallow and the Bearbrom. You go into Ferrigid, and this is why you put the double dragons here, because now the Ferrigid points into this zone, which has to be free, because the Bearbrom is going to trigger, gets us a Revolt, we put 1 card back, and then we set 2. Now this is generally the setup that you want to have, even like without this. Your setup wants to be a Yummy on the field and a Revolt, hopefully a Surprise, and even better if you have the Chimera engrave. That is the order of things. This is the full board. Now you have a bounce here. If you can send the Ferrigid, that's nice, because then you can also cycle a card from your hand. And the most important thing here, though, is the Revolt. So at any point during your opponent's turn, you can Revolt. You bring back the Spring-Ins kit, you bring back the Mauser, and you bring back a kit. If you have one more space on the board, you can also bring back the Nerval, because then you also get follow-up. But this is generally the best way to do it. You can link these off for a Shurake, and then you have some triggers. You have the Mauser, which can Book of Moon one of your opponent's card. I would put this as your last chain link, because that's not really hand trappable, but you go Kit, Mauser. And you can also Shurake banish, but what I like to do is just use the Revolt to get my Shurake on board and Book of Moon a monster, and then you can just stagger your interruptions. At some point in the combo you can also banish them, because Shurake is very easy to trigger in this. But the kit is going to bring you back whatever you need, Nerval or Fraktall, depending on what you want to do. Let's just bring back the Nerval in this case, and then this kit is going to send you Oath if you play that in the main. If you don't, then you can, instead of kit, just summon the Nerval and get your ad that way. But this way you have an Oath. So Oath says if you have all Tri-types on the field, you can banish it and negate a card on your opponent's field, which is very, very good into breakers. So if your opponent Rahu's you banish this, negate the Rahu, and that's very scary card out of the way. Now, at any point in the combo where you tag out your Yami, or your Yami Surprise, or you synchro with Snatchy, or your Chimera brings something back, you can banish a card non-targeting with the Shurake. If you have a Croaky in the main deck, which I'm currently thinking about whether I want to main deck this or a Croaky, you can also set up the Croaky with the Snatchy that you bring back. Very important though, if you use Snatchy to put the field spell, you cannot resolve Revolt after, so you should do that before, because this is a link 4 and it is a link summon. Now, what's really cool about the Revolt is that even if you get nibbed at the end of your turn, let's say, right? Let's rewind it a bit. Even if you get nibbed, this is your nib token, but you have the Revolt set up, you are fine, because you can go Revolt. This time you can easily bring back 4, so you bring back this, this, and this, and you link all of them off for your Shurake, and you'll get all these triggers. You can get follow-up, you can send the Oath again, and the Tri-Brigade Spring Kit in this case definitely brings back the Fraktall. And then you have the Fraktall on the field, you have the Shurake, and you can use your Chimera here to summon back your Yami Synchro. And now, once again, even though your opponent nibbed you and you had nothing left, in the opponent's turn, you will have Oath set up, you have all 3 Tri-types, you have the Surprise still, and you can do Yami stuff. So very, very resilient if they nib at the end. They always have to pick their poison with the nib. So that is the standard line. Let's talk more about alternative lines. Now, if you want to play around board breakers and nib, you can do that by sacrificing some board pieces. And the pivoting point again is the Mauser here. You're going to activate the Mauser and you're going to send a Berbrom directly, and you're going to send a Nerval. Now you're going to go chaining 1 Berbrom, chaining 2 Nerval, because the Berbrom is more important. And if you want another extender, you can chain Yami Surprise, because this is the last time you can revive with this. After that, because of Berbrom, you are locked into Tri-Brigade monsters. But you're going to grab the Fraktall with the Nerval, and you're going to grab the Revolt with the Berbrom, put 1 card back, and then you are going to go use the Fraktall, send kit, which is the full grave setup, and you can revive your Nerval here. Now here, you can just make a Farragut if you want to get this in the grave, or what you can do is you can banish 4, make your first Shurake, and here again, if you want, you can link off the Shurake and the Mauser for a Farragut. So if you play a DD Crow, you can add that with the Shurake, but if you don't, you can just do it like this, get the Mauser in the grave here, and here the arrow doesn't matter because you still have 2 arrows here. So now you just have the Shurake on the board already, and are more flexible. You don't have to shotgun the Revolt for this to banish, but of course you can also just activate it and get your Oath live that way. So what we gave up is the Chimera and the Double Dragon Lord, but we are more resilient into Nibiru, and that's probably something you can do game 2. So for all the commenters who like to comment Nibiru, this is the combo for you. Now, it wouldn't be a Yummy deck hybrid if you couldn't bridge both ways. So for this, we have the Fraktall Combo, and Fraktall is really nice because he puts all the Tri-Brigade cards in rotation for you. So we're going to start by using it, sending old kit, sending Nerval, grabbing new kit. You go through old kit just to get it in rotation. You can just directly send Nerval, but of course you want the kit here. You normal summon the new kit. Of course, if you have more extenders or starters, you can go and play a bit and special summon this once you have the Tri-Brigade on the field. But here you're going to link into Snatchy because this is a light beast. Chain link one kit, chaining to Snatchy. This chain blocks this from being belled, which is very nice. So you get a field spell. If you run a Croaky, you don't actually need this card in the combo, so you can just put up a Croaky, but we're going to revive the Nerval, and now we have a link 1 and a level 1. If you want, you can banish 2 cards with a Nerval to make double Dragon Lords. Note that this locks you for using Tri-types as link material, so if they have Nib, you cannot make Link Spider anymore if you do this. So let's just not do it for now, and we're gonna just use these two, make Cupsy, grab our 2 names, discard a card, and this situation is the same as we've been before. We can special summon the Marshmallow, we can special the Cupsy, we still have the Link Spider open, we go into Surprise, and here we make our Mauser. Now with Mauser, you can actually just go and send Bearbrum and Bucephalus because we already have all we need. Then we go chain link 1 Bearbrum, chain link 2 Bucephalus, chain blocking the Bearbrum, and you're going to chain link 3 Surprise to summon a Marshmallow. Now, this is the last time you can do this because Bearbrum will lock you. So we're going to go and send the Chimera. We're going to add the Revolt, put a card back. And now the Marshmallow will grab us back our Surprise. And for now, we can just link these 2 off to go into a Fairy Jet just to get the Mauser in the grave so that we have the Book of Moon effect. We're going to set Revolt, we're going to set Surprise, and we just have the full setup again. Sometimes within a Croaky post side, or if you main deck a Croaky, and you can get your Oath online with the Revolt at any time. For the last combo, I have an Obedience Schooled line. Now, this is a one-off, but the line is still different enough that I wanted to cover it. So you're going to go activate Obedience Schooled. For the rest of the turn, you are now locked into Beasts, which is important for this line. And you're going to summon Kit and the 2 good names. So what you want to do here, there's already 3 summons, is you link off the Cupsy for Snatchy, getting your field spell, and use your field spell for your 5th summon to be a Cupsy Yummy. This is going to grab you a Surprise, and the way to play against Nib is just to get your resources into your hand or field before the Nib can make an impact. So we already got the Surprise. If they Nib here, what you want to do is you want to chain Snatchy to Synchro Summon and make any Yummy Synchro just to get it in the grave for Surprise to add. Because after we get nibbed, Kit will send Nerval, Nerval adds a Tri-Brigade name, and you just do the Tri-Brigade stuff from there, so you get to Revolt anyway. And then you have the full setup, even though they nibbed you. But if they don't, you want to go Cupsy Yummy way, grabbing you our 2 Yummy names. We can actually go and discard one of them, we don't need it. And what you do from here is you're going to use these 2 and make your Mauser. Now you have chain link 1 Mauser, chain link 2 Kit. Kit is going to send Nerval, Mauser is going to send Bearbrum and Bucephalus. And now you have some triggers. You can have the Nerval chain link 1, Bearbrum chain link 2, chain link 3 Bucephalus. Bucephalus is going to send the Chimera. You're going to go and with the Nerval grab a Fraktall, and with the Bearbrum you're going to grab a Revolt. If you want, you can shuffle the extra Yummy card into your deck, if the rest of your hand is good hand traps. And you also, again, just like before the chain resolves, use Surprise for the Marshmallow because you need the link material. And after the chain resolves, the Marshmallow gets you back your Surprise. And then you just link off these 2 for a Fairy Jet, get the Fraktall on board. Why? Because this is a Beast Warrior, and you see that we don't have the new kit in rotation here. So what we want to do here is to have a Beast Warrior like this, so that we have the Tri-types that we need for our Oath. So now we have a Beast Warrior, and the Revolt is going to get you your Winged Beast in your opponent's turn. So in your opponent's turn, again, we just Revolt for our Book of Moon for this, and let's get some follow-up as well. Side note, if they in your turn decide to bestial your Snatchy, you can bring it back with Revolt, and then it's in the graveyard. If they keep the bestial for their turn, you can chain the Chimera to bring back the Snatchy, so, or the Surprise to bring back. So bestials, even though if they hit the Snatchy and the Revolt is gone, hits very hard, you have ways to play around it. But here you would go again and go into a Shurake, and then you can go and set up your Tri-Brigade Oath and get some follow-up as well. Let's take the Fraktall here for the Nerval, and yeah, the kit sent that, and we have the Book of Moon. So again, we have the full setup, like full setup. We have the Chimera Engrave, we have the Surprise, we have the Revolt Oath, and we have a full hand still. So we just didn't set up the double Dragon Lords, but we are beast locked in this line anyway. But this is all there is to this video. I hope you liked this combo. If you have some improvements for these combos, I do these by myself, so if you have some improvements, leave them in the comments. If you want to discuss the deck with me, then I have a link to my Discord in the description as always. So see you there hopefully, and until next time.